You won't believe what happened when my package went missing right in front of my eyes. The HOA president, the very person who's supposed to protect our community, stole my delivery. And I caught it all on Ring footage. What happened next? My delivery army went into action and the tables turned in a way no one expected. Stick around because you're about to see a Karen meltdown of epic proportions that shook our neighborhood to its core. Intro call to action. Before we dive into this insane HOA drama, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of these shocking community stories. Turn on notifications because what you're about to see is one for the history books. Chapter 1. It all started on a bright Saturday morning when I was expecting a delivery I had been waiting weeks for. The excitement of seeing my package arrive was immediate, and I had been tracking the delivery obsessively, refreshing my phone every few minutes. The delivery truck pulled up at the curb, and I watched as the driver left the box at my doorstep. But when I stepped outside, it was gone. Confused, I quickly checked my Ring camera footage. What I saw made my blood run cold. There, in clear 1080p detail, was the HOA president, dressed in his usual crisp polo, walking across the lawn and snatching my package as if it were his own. My heart raced and the sense of betrayal was immediate. The person I had to trust with my community, who had the authority to enforce rules, had crossed a line that felt personal. I sat down, stunned, and began to replay the footage frame by frame. His expression was smug, almost as if he knew I would see it but wouldn't know what to do next. That's when the idea hit me I wouldn't just let this slide. I immediately reached out to my neighbors, many of whom had experienced minor annoyances with this HOA president before. It turns out my delivery wasn't the first he had swiped. Some had reported packages missing. Some had stories of unnecessary fines and intimidation. A plan started to form in my mind. This wasn't just about a package. This was about accountability, about making sure someone who abused power could no longer hide behind his title. I began documenting everything, saving the footage in multiple formats, preparing for the day we would confront him. The community needed to see the truth, and I had the evidence. Chapter 2. Over the next few days, I mobilized my so-called delivery army, a group of neighbors who were just as fed up with the HOA president's antics as I was. Each member had their own story, their own frustrations that had piled up over months or even years. Together we strategized, planning to expose his behavior without putting ourselves at risk. We coordinated with multiple delivery services, setting up controlled tests with packages we could track. Each step was documented on video. It wasn't long before our HOA president unknowingly walked into our plan again. On one occasion, a package with GPS tracking was left at my doorstep, and sure enough, he appeared on camera, creeping around as if he owned the neighborhood. My heart pounded as the footage captured his every move. We now had undeniable evidence, not just of theft, but of a pattern of behavior. The next step was to escalate this to the HOA board. We compiled our files, meticulously labeled and organized. A presentation was created, complete with timestamps, video stills, and even GPS data. When we called the emergency HOA meeting, it felt like we were walking into a battlefield. I presented the evidence calmly, letting the videos speak for themselves. The reaction was instantaneous. Faces turned pale. Murmurs filled the room, and even the most stoic board members couldn't hide their shock. There was no room left for excuses, no way to spin the story in his favor. We had built a case so airtight that any denial would have sounded absurd. Chapter 3. With the board convinced and the evidence undeniable, the HOA president's world started unraveling. Notices were issued, and the board took immediate action, suspending him from duties pending further review. But the story didn't end there. Our community began to rally around the delivery army, sharing experiences and stories that painted a broader picture of misconduct. Social media posts, local news inquiries, and neighborhood forums amplified the impact, putting public pressure on the board to act swiftly. The president tried to fight back, making excuses and claiming misunderstandings, but the videos were relentless. Each replay highlighted his deliberate actions, the way he smiled while taking packages that weren't his, and the audacity to continue despite repeated warnings from neighbors. The mounting pressure reached a tipping point when the board unanimously voted to remove him permanently from his position. The room erupted in a mixture of relief and vindication. Neighbors cheered quietly, exchanging smiles that said, "We did it." Justice was served. The delivery army became a symbol of collective action and accountability. It wasn't about revenge. It was about standing up and making sure authority could not be abused unchecked. Chapter 4. Life in the community began to return to normal, but the lessons lingered. The removal of the HOA president served as a warning that no one, regardless of title, is above scrutiny. The neighborhood became closer, more vigilant, and more engaged. New rules were implemented to ensure transparency in all HOA operations. Package delivery procedures were updated, with neighbors encouraged to report suspicious activity immediately. And though the story started with a single stolen package, it ended as a testament to unity and courage. The delivery army became legendary in our neighborhood, proof that collective action and clear evidence could topple even the most arrogant of figures. I still watch my ring footage from time to time, not out of fear, but as a reminder of how quickly situations can escalate when trust is broken, and how important it is to stand up when something is wrong. We had taken what felt like a small injustice and transformed it into a turning point for the entire community. The HOA president may have been removed, but the story lives on as a cautionary tale for anyone who thinks they can misuse authority without consequence. Outro call to action. If you loved this crazy HOA drama and want to see more unbelievable stories like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Share this with your friends and join the delivery army. We've got more jaw-dropping stories coming your way that you won't want to miss.